In 2025 alone, distracted driving contributed to thousands of crashes across Ohio, and repeat traffic violations cost drivers millions of dollars in fines and insurance hike. But here's the shocking part. Starting March 1st, 2026, one simple mistake behind the wheel could legally cost you up to $1,000. Not for reckless racing, not for a DUI, but for something many drivers do almost every single day without thinking. Imagine this, you're stopped at a red light. You quickly check your phone. Maybe you're answering your boss, your spouse, or your child. Within seconds, flashing lights appear in your rearview mirror. That quick glance just turned into a costly citation. And if it's not your first offense, the penalty becomes even more serious, including fines, point, and possible license suspension. So what exactly changed? And how can you protect yourself before March 1st? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could save you $1,000 or more. Number 1. Expanded distracted driving enforcement. Starting March 1st, Ohio is taking distracted driving enforcement to an entirely new level. Police officers can now pull you over solely for using or even holding your phone while driving. And yes, that includes sitting at a red light or stuck in traffic. Many drivers believe that if the car isn't moving, it's harmless to quickly check a message. But under the updated enforcement rules, that quick glance can result in a citation. The goal behind this law is clear. Distracted driving has remained one of the leading causes of preventable crashes, and studies consistently show that even a few seconds of visual distraction dramatically increases accident risk. Ohio lawmakers are responding with stricter primary enforcement, meaning officers no longer need another reason to stop you. What makes this especially important is how common phone use has become for adults between 23 and 65 plus. Young professionals answer work emails on the go. Parents coordinate pickups and schedules. Rideshare and delivery drivers rely heavily on apps. Even retirees use navigation and messaging while commuting. The challenge is that multitasking behind the wheel feels normal, but science shows the brain cannot fully focus on driving while processing digital information. Just 5 seconds of looking at a screen at highway speed is like driving the length of a football field with your eyes closed. That's why penalties are increasing, and enforcement is becoming more visible statewide. So how can you protect yourself? First, activate Do Not Disturb while driving mode on your phone. Most devices have it built in. Second, mount your phone properly if you use GPS, and set your destination before you start driving. Third, if a message feels urgent, pull into a safe parking area before responding. Ask yourself, is any text worth a ticket, points on your license, or higher insurance premiums? Small adjustments in daily habits can now make a $1,000 difference. Number 2. $1,000 fine for repeat offenses. Here's where things become financially serious. Under the updated Ohio law, repeat distracted driving offenses can now lead to fines reaching up to $1,000, along with additional penalties like license points and even possible suspension. The first ticket is already expensive and frustrating, but if you're cited again within a certain time frame, the consequences escalate quickly. Lawmakers designed this tiered penalty system based on crash data, showing that repeat offenders are statistically more likely to be involved in future accidents. In simple terms, if someone doesn't change their behavior after the first warning, the state is responding with much stronger consequences. For working adults, this can have a ripple effect far beyond the fine itself. Insurance companies closely monitor moving violations. One citation may raise your premium slightly, but multiple offenses can cause significant increases that last for years. Imagine paying hundreds more annually just because of 2 quick phone checks behind the wheel. For professionals who drive for work, such as real estate agents, sales representatives, or delivery drivers, repeated violations could even impact employment eligibility. And for parents, a suspended license can disrupt school drop-offs, medical appointments, and daily family routines. The financial hit isn't just immediate, it's long-term. So what's the smart move? Treat the first warning as your final warning. If you've already received a citation, take a defensive driving course if eligible. It may reduce points and show proactive responsibility. Create a simple habit. Phone goes out of reach before the engine starts. Consider using apps that block notifications while driving. Ask yourself honestly, are you reacting automatically to every buzz and vibration? Awareness is the first step to breaking that cycle. Because under this new law, repeating the same mistake could now cost you far more than you expect. Number 3. Increased fines in construction and school zones. If you've ever sped up slightly to make it through a construction area or school zone, This new update should get your full attention. Starting March 1st, fines for speeding in construction zones and school zones are increasing significantly, and enforcement is becoming more aggressive. In many areas, automated speed cameras and enhanced patrol monitoring will be expanded. That means even if you don't see an officer immediately, violations can still be recorded. These zones exist because crash data consistently shows that workers and children are among the most vulnerable on the road. A few extra miles per hour may not feel dangerous, but in these areas, it can be the difference between a close call and a life-altering accident. For adults balancing work deadlines, school drop-offs, and packed schedules, these zones often appear at the worst possible times, during morning rush or late afternoon fatigue. You may feel pressure to hurry, but here's the reality. Penalties in these zones are often double or enhanced, and repeated violations can stack quickly. For parents, imagine explaining to your child that rushing near their school resulted in a heavy fine. For working professionals, think about how multiple tickets could affect your driving record and insurance premiums. The law is designed to slow drivers down where safety matters most. So what can you do? First, start slowing down as soon as you see warning signs, not when you're already inside the zone. Second, use cruise control in long construction stretches to maintain steady speed. Third, plan 5 extra minutes into your commute so you're never tempted to rush. Ask yourself, is arriving 2 minutes earlier worth risking hundreds of dollars and someone's safety? A small mindset shift, choosing patience over speed, can now protect both your wallet and your conscience. Number 4, real-time insurance verification system. Another major change starting March 1st is Ohio's upgraded real-time insurance verification system. In the past, some drivers could experience a brief lapse in coverage without immediate consequences. That gap is now much harder to hide. The state's improved electronic database connects directly with insurance providers, allowing officials to quickly detect canceled, expired, or inactive policies. If your insurance lapses, even for a short period, you could face registration suspension, reinstatement fees, and additional fines. The system is designed to reduce the number of uninsured drivers on the road, which studies show increases overall accident costs for everyone. For adults managing busy lives, this update is more serious than it may sound. Maybe you switched banks and forgot to update automatic payments. Maybe your credit card expired and your premium didn't process. Or perhaps you changed insurance providers and assumed everything transferred smoothly. These small administrative oversights can now trigger immediate consequences. For working professionals who rely on their vehicle daily, a suspended registration can disrupt commuting and job responsibilities. For families, it can mean missed appointments and unnecessary stress. And financially, reinstatement fees combined with higher insurance premiums can quickly add up. So how do you protect yourself? First, confirm your policy is active today, don't assume. Log into your insurer's website or call for verification. Second, set a reminder 2 weeks before your renewal date. Third, ensure automatic payments are linked to a valid, updated payment method. It's also wise to keep digital proof of insurance accessible at all times. Ask yourself, when was the last time you double-checked your policy status? Under this new system, staying organized isn't optional, it's essential. A few minutes of prevention can save you from unexpected penalties and unnecessary headaches. Before you click away, tell me this. If a police officer pulled you over tomorrow, are you 100% confident you're protected under these new laws? Drop a comment with your age group and the number of the law that surprised you most. I truly read them all. If you haven't watched our previous video on protecting your driving record and lowering insurance costs, watch it next. It could save you even more. We put hours of research and effort into every video to keep you informed, so please support us by subscribing. It's just one simple click, but it means everything to this channel. Number 5, updated license renewal and ID requirements. Beginning March 1st, Ohio is also tightening certain drivers' license renewal requirements, and this change could especially impact adults over 65, as well as busy professionals who tend to renew at the last minute. Some drivers may now be required to renew in person more frequently, complete updated vision screenings, or provide additional documentation depending on their age and license status. The goal is road safety, ensuring that every licensed driver meets current health and identification standards. But for many people, the surprise isn't the rule itself, it's realizing too late that their renewal date has already passed. For seniors, This may mean planning ahead for appointments and possible medical evaluations. Vision changes naturally with age, and while most people adapt gradually, the state wants formal verification. For younger adults, especially those who recently moved, the issue is often outdated addresses or confusion between standard licenses and real ID compliance. If your license expires and you continue driving, you could face fines or even a temporary suspension, something that can affect work, travel plans, and daily responsibilities. Imagine discovering your license expired only after being pulled over. That simple oversight could become costly and stressful. So what should you do right now? First, check your license expiration date. Physically look at it, don't guess. Second, confirm whether you need a real ID for future air travel or federal identification purposes. Third, schedule your renewal appointment early, especially if you're 65 plus. Don't wait until the final week when time slots are limited. Ask yourself, when was the last time you reviewed your license details carefully? Staying proactive with your renewal may seem minor, but under these updated rules, a forgotten date can quickly turn into an avoidable problem. Number 6. Stricter DUI and marijuana-impaired driving enforcement. Ohio is also strengthening enforcement around impaired driving, and this includes both alcohol and marijuana. Even if marijuana is legal for medical or recreational use, driving under its influence remains strictly illegal. Starting March 1st, enforcement procedures are becoming more refined, with expanded roadside testing and stricter monitoring of repeat offenders. Lawmakers point to consistent research showing that impaired reaction time, reduced coordination, and slower decision-making significantly increase crash risk. What surprises many adults is that impairment can last longer than they expect, especially with edibles or higher alcohol concentrations. For working professionals, social events, client dinners, or weekend gatherings can easily blur the line between "I feel fine" and legally impaired. Parents may assume one drink with dinner is harmless before driving home. Retirees may believe medical marijuana doesn't affect driving ability. The reality is that impairment isn't always obvious to the person experiencing it. Studies show people often underestimate how affected they are. And under stricter enforcement, officers are trained to look for subtle behavioral cues, not just extreme signs. A DUI conviction doesn't just mean fines. It can involve license suspension, mandatory programs, higher insurance premiums, and even career consequences. So what's the safest strategy? Plan ahead before you go out. Use a rideshare app, designate a sober driver, or simply stay where you are until you are fully certain you're unimpaired. If you're unsure, don't guess. Choose not to drive. Ask yourself honestly, is saving the cost of a ride worth risking thousands in legal fees and long-term record damage? This law isn't about punishment, it's about prevention. Making one responsible decision ahead of time can protect your license, your finances, and most importantly, lives, including your own. Number 7. Expanded move-over law. Another important update starting March 1st involves Ohio's move-over law, and many drivers don't realize how much it has expanded. Previously, most people understood they had to move over for police vehicles with flashing lights. Now, the rule applies more broadly to any roadside vehicle displaying hazard lights, including utility trucks, tow trucks, highway maintenance crews, and even certain disabled vehicles. If you cannot safely change lanes, you are required to significantly slow down. Failure to comply can result in fines, license points, and in some cases, enhanced penalties if an injury occurs. This matters because roadside workers face serious danger every day. National safety data consistently shows that roadside incidents remain a major cause of worker injuries and fatalities. For busy adults commuting to work, picking up kids, or heading to appointments, it's easy to stay focused straight ahead and forget to check the shoulder. But imagine being the person standing outside a vehicle just a few feet from fast-moving traffic. A simple lane change from you could mean the difference between safety and tragedy. The law is designed to create a protective buffer, a small act of awareness that can save lives. So how can you adjust your driving habits? First, scan the road ahead more actively, especially on highways. If you see flashing lights in the distance, prepare to change lanes early rather than abruptly. Second, reduce speed gradually if moving over isn't possible. Third, avoid distractions so you have enough reaction time. Ask yourself, do you automatically move over when you see flashing lights, or do you wait until the last second? A small shift in attention can prevent a heavy fine, and more importantly, protect someone working just inches from traffic. Number 8. new e-bike and electric vehicle road rules. With more Ohio residents choosing electric vehicles and e-bikes for commuting and daily errands, new roadway guidelines are taking effect March 1st. These updates clarify where certain classes of e-bikes can operate, how they must follow traffic laws, and in some areas, whether additional safety equipment is required. Many people assume e-bikes are treated exactly like traditional bicycles, but that's not always the case. Higher-speed e-bikes may face restrictions on sidewalks, multi-use trails, or specific roadways. The state's goal is simple: reduce confusion and prevent accidents as electric mobility becomes more common. For young professionals using e-bikes to avoid traffic, parents buying them for teenagers, or retirees enjoying recreational rides, this matters more than you think. E-bikes can reach speeds that surprise both riders and drivers. Without clear rules, misunderstandings at intersections or shared pathways can quickly turn dangerous. Drivers of electric cars should also stay informed about updated charging station regulations and registration requirements that may apply in certain municipalities. As technology evolves, laws are catching up, and staying unaware could lead to citations or liability issues if an accident occurs. So what should you do? First, identify your e-bike's class. This information is usually printed on the frame or in the manual. Second, review your local city regulations, since some rules vary by location. Third, always wear proper safety gear and obey the same traffic signals as motor vehicles when required. Ask yourself, are you riding or driving based on assumptions or on updated knowledge? A few minutes of research today can prevent confusion, fines, and safety risks tomorrow. Number 9, license plate visibility and digital plate regulations. This next change may seem small, but it's catching many drivers off guard. Starting March 1st, Ohio is increasing enforcement around license plate visibility. That means any obstruction, including tinted covers, dark frames, dirt buildup, snow, or even decorative overlays, can now result in a citation. If any part of your plate number, state name, or registration sticker is partially hidden, you could be fined. Law enforcement agencies argue that clearly visible plates are essential for public safety, toll systems, and identifying vehicles involved in violations or accidents. For everyday drivers, this is easy to overlook. During winter months, snow and road salt quickly accumulate. Some drivers install tinted covers for style or protection, not realizing they may now be considered illegal. Others use dealership frames that partially block the state name without noticing. What feels cosmetic or harmless can now be treated as non-compliance. And if you're already pulled over for another reason, a plate obstruction can add an extra fine to the stop. It's a small detail that can turn into an unnecessary expense. So here's what you should do today. Step outside and physically check your license plate, front and back if applicable. Remove any tinted or smoked covers completely. Make sure frames do not block any letters or numbers. During snowy or muddy weather, wipe your plates clean before driving. Ask yourself, when was the last time you actually looked at your plate closely? This is one of the simplest fixes on this list, and one of the easiest fines to avoid with just a few minutes of attention. Number 10. Crack down on driving without a valid license. The final update may be one of the most serious. Beginning March 1st, Ohio is intensifying enforcement against drivers operating a vehicle with a suspended, expired, or invalid license. While this has always been illegal, the difference now is stronger tracking systems, faster notifications, and stricter penalties for repeat violations. Many drivers assume they would know if their license wasn't valid, but that's not always true. Address changes, unpaid tickets, missed court dates, or administrative errors can trigger a suspension without you fully realizing it. For working adults, this can quickly turn into a life disruption. Imagine being pulled over on your way to work, only to discover your license expired 2 weeks ago. Or learning that an unpaid fine you forgot about placed your driving privileges on hold. The penalties can include additional fines, reinstatement fees, court appearances, and even vehicle impoundment in some cases. For parents, this could affect daily school transportation. For professionals who drive for a living, it could threaten employment. What starts as a simple oversight can snowball into a stressful legal and financial burden. So here's a smart step. Verify your license status directly through the Ohio BMV website before March 1st. Check for outstanding tickets, confirm your address is current, and make sure your renewal is completed on time. If you're unsure about your status, don't guess, confirm. Ask yourself, when was the last time you checked your official driving record? Staying proactive now can prevent an embarrassing stop, unexpected penalties, and costly complications later. Starting March 1st, these new Ohio driving laws could impact every driver, whether you're 25 or 65 plus. The difference between a normal commute and a $1,000 mistake may come down to simple awareness and small daily habits. The good news? Most of these fines are completely avoidable when you stay informed and proactive. Now I want to hear from you. What age group are you in, and which law surprised you the most? Comment below. If this helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who drives in Ohio. This video is for educational purposes only and not legal advice.